Township, April 15th meeting.
We're going to start the meeting. We're going to start the meeting, okay?
Any problems with public meetings on that?
Go ahead. Are we good? We're going to start. We're going to do this. Okay.
You're going to have Mary tonight?
Mary's coming. Yeah, she'll be late. Okay? All right. I'll call this meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Express Times and Star Gazette, satisfying the Open Public Meeting Act. If we could please stand for a silent prayer and then flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do I have a motion to pay the bills presented in proper form, signed by the director of each department and approved by the majority of the members on the bill list? I would amend it to only the bills that are signed tonight, so that would exclude all administration bills, I think, except for the few that have been signed. So all signed bills tonight. Everyone okay with that? I don't want to authorize payment of bills that haven't been signed by council persons. So is there a motion for that?
I'll make that motion, because I'm not going over all mine here yet.
Okay. Second, okay.
Okay. Black,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, public comment pertaining to agenda items. Is there any public comment pertaining to agenda items? Yes, sir.
Victor Hernandez. Mayor, what is the cutoff for older Americans? Let's see if I qualify.
You're too young. That's a good question. I think it's 65. So you're not that. Okay, any other public comment pertaining to agenda items? Seeing none, the attorney is out of the country. The engineer's report will go right in to Gwen.
Okay, just a couple items. The River Road Bridge and Retaining Wall hasn't started yet. We're waiting for response from DEP about our request to get another emergency permit. We've got the official permit filed. They have 90 days to review it. They said that they're not going to get, that's up in June. So we're trying to get another emergency authorization so that we can start in the next few weeks. And I met with a disaster recovery specialist who contacted the township. He's trying to close out Hurricane Irene and Hurricane Sandy storm events. We are actually owed money from each of those events. And I've been coordinating with Don Grube to get information that they need that we've already given them to get final reimbursement. But it looks like, from what I have, I did reach out to Lorraine. I haven't heard back from her just to confirm it, but it looks like we are owed about $40,000 yet from Hurricane Sandy and about $9,000 from Hurricane Irene. But I am going to try to appeal the amount that we got reimbursed from Hurricane Irene because of the way they estimated the cost of the projects and what they actually did cost to do. And if we can work out the appeal with them, that would be an additional $38,000. So that's where that stands. And do you want to talk about the Route 22 now, Jim? Or
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it now, yeah.
no? Okay. Jim and I met with a couple of the planners from the Warren County Planning Department last week about, actually they reached out to the mayor. They had done a study back in 2009 about some Route 22 corridor improvements in the vicinity of, actually from 122 all the way through Phillipsburg. But they came to talk to us about 519. They said that they had gotten so far with the study, well, the state really funded it and took the lead on it. There was a lot of public meetings about it, and the state just pretty much dropped it. So the county planning office reached out to us and said, do you have an interest in revisiting a study. This particular study would kind of be void right now because the Greenwood Street extension having been completed through to Bliss Boulevard. So they have written a letter to the DOT commissioner asking that they, start to look into performing another study and seeing if there's any improvements that can be done to make the 519 and 22 intersection a little bit safer. I think the board that's up there shows one of the schemes that they had come up with at that time, and that was to push all of the lanes on one side of the church, so you could maintain the church and you would eliminate that median area at 519 intersection. So I think tonight we have a motion on that the township would also send a letter in support of the state revisiting some kind of study in this area.
Yeah, and you all have a copy of the letter that would go to the commissioner of the DOT. I had, it was funny because when we did my statements on the red light cameras, the county planner reached out to me, well, not the planner, but one of the gentlemen who works in his office and said, your comments are exactly correct. It's the intersection that we need to be addressing. And he was able to pull up documentation from several years ago, which if you look at figure 48, which the public can as well, that we have a copy of, and you'll see one of the significant improvements that this makes is it eliminates the middle island of 519 and 22, which to me is one of the most significant parts of the intersection that makes it horrendous. And also what you'll see it does is it moves the highway all onto the same side as the Straw Church. So that, I believe, would increase visibility as opposed to that curve that exists there now. There's the sign there that flashes, red light ahead, and there's elevation, but this would provide almost a straightaway. And I don't know if, Chief, you wanted to speak to that at all.
Well, I think with this concept here, you're eliminating two intersections basically, because you have your main intersection at 22 and 519. You also have an interior intersection at 22 and 519. A plan like this would bring the eastbound and the westbound lanes on the southern end of the Straw Church. So they would actually go around the church. You still have the intersection there, but it's only one true intersection at that point. I also read part of the study, and the other thing that it'll do is the problem that they have is when you're going westbound on 22, because of the traffic, the vehicles tend to stack when they're trying to make the left from 22 westbound on the 519. This would eliminate that also, which would obviously help with the traffic flow, which in essence means less accidents. So I think that this is definitely something to look at.
Yeah, and I think the unique situation that this intersection finds itself in due to the automated traffic enforcement program there, the state, I think, would like to improve this intersection by any means necessary. I mean, by Powhatan's participation in the pilot program, the state is acknowledging that these intersections are not safe. So I think right there we have pretty good grounds to say, here's a problem that we would like to see fixed. I know that the county has reached out to our legislative team. I spoke today with Senator Doherty's office. So I think, I know that they will be supportive of this measure. So I think if the township then, obviously since it's in our town, would pass a motion to authorize me to send this letter on behalf of the township to the state, that would have state, county, and local officials all supporting something that I think the state would then have to acknowledge. And granted, I mean, they told the county to do this study several years ago. I mean, this has been acknowledged as a dangerous intersection, and now they are finally, we have something that we can show them and an alternative. So that's why the motion is there. I don't know if council has any questions or concerns.
I have some concerns. I would like to talk to someone from the church. I think years ago, we signed a lease with them. But I have to talk to a church elder.
My brother Barry's an elder, I think.
What's that?
My brother Barry, I think he's an elder at the church. Stop up and see him.
I have to talk to someone from the church because we don't want to do any harm whatsoever
No.
to the church.
And this would keep the church intact, and quite frankly, I think this would make it even safer, because now the church, actually, the people can pull out and not kind of edge out onto Route 22, which I think that is almost as dangerous as the intersections. I mean, Chief, it's terrible there. I mean, you have the pull out of ShopRite, and then you have the pull out of the church all before that intersection, and this eliminates that. You pull in on the one side, and then they leave out onto 519. So it's,
But where's the church going to park their cars? See, I have to,
that's still,
The lot's still there.
the lot's still there,
The
so.
lot is still there.
They're gonna end up with that
It's actually on the
side.
but how would you get there from the church?
There's a,
Look at, right here, you have,
there's a road that takes you right around the church into the lot.
see, this road now, people would be able to leave the church and pull out onto 519, instead now, where they pull out onto the highway. The highway road.
Okay,
So it's actually safer.
You can see the old-
I still like to talk to them and show the church this plan.
Well, I think we need to have them involved, and I think obviously Gwen will have to talk to the property owners along 22 as well,
Well,
right?
this will be as part of the study that DOT and the county would be doing, would be to look at each property, how it would be affected. There would be lots of meetings with the public and with other interested parties. So, this type of thing is, 10, 15 years out before anything would be done. This isn't
We've
anything
been
that you're
studying,
starting this summer. We've been
We-
studying it for 20 years. I
Yeah,
know.
and nothing has ever happened.
No. They worked with the state, the county worked with the state for 5 years, and I think this summer they're finally going to do the improvements at Roseberry Street.
Yeah, which actually, that turnaround time was pretty quick by state standards.
But it was a lot simpler situation. And I failed to mention, and I'm sorry, Chief, the chief was
that's
at our
okay.
meeting also.
But I think for us to know about this alternative, and for us not to act on it, would not be doing our due diligence. So that's why the motion's on there. And I think, like I said, with the notoriety that the intersection has garnered and the most likely termination of the camera program at the end of the year, there needs to be an alternative for this intersection. So,
We've been, like Gwen has said, we've been studying this maybe for 50 years.
that's true, but this plan came to pretty much ahead, and then it just stopped. Right, Gwen? The report was done, and the state never got it, because when...
No, this was all, the state was all part of this.
But
The state was in with the meetings, they have the report, but they just didn't
Just died.
pursue.
yeah, they just
anything
stopped it,
At
yeah.
that point, they just got to the point where the study was done and then just said, thanks.
Yeah, exactly, so it
Just
just
to walk away from it.
ended. But they don't know why. When we contacted them down there, they don't know why it ended, so that's always a question to be asked.
That's
So,
all I had on my report.
thank you, Gwen. We'll go into Township Council reports. Dave?
I'll start with the DPW report for this month. They cold patched potholes throughout the township roadways. They ran the infield machine on the baseball fields twice a week. They fixed the yard edges that was damaged from the snow plowing over the winter. They hot patched potholes on township roadways. They put the salt spreaders back on the dump trucks for predicted snow. I don't know when that was, but I don't think we got it, but they're calling for some tonight, so who knows. and they repaired the exhaust leak on truck number 20. And they also did dress up out in front of the township building here where the grass was a little bit in disrepair. They did some touch-up work there. And that's about it for the DPW. Land Use Board, we did have a meeting. There was several things on the agenda. We had a thin attendance, so we only heard two things. We heard a Party City sign variance. They're going to change the sign that's on the Party City. A little bit bigger, more modern looking, nothing extraordinary or out of the ordinary. They got all the approvals they were looking for that. And then Tyler Emmerich came before us on an informal. He had a garage down at his house on Creek Road that fell down in the wintertime with the snow. He's looking to put it back up, and he came to us for some guidance on what he could and couldn't do. And as I said, there were some other things on the agenda that were scheduled, but we didn't hear them because we didn't have a real good attendance on the Land Use Board. That's about all I have, Mayor. I have some quotes here I can give you after the meeting for some repairs to the ball fields and some other things that we can talk about after the meeting.
Great, thank you, Dave. Sal?
Do you think it would be possible if we were to write a letter to Alpha to tie in on the water line feeding Crestwood Park? You know, to put in water fountains.
Up at Crestwood?
And eventually eliminating the job Johnnies up there at the park.
Where would you put bathrooms at Crestwood?
Inside the,
The pavilion?
yeah.
Do you have any quotes for what that would cost?
I did, but
But you know, they use that though for storage space right now. I don't know if there's room. And for food.
Food, yeah.
I mean, we could see if Alpha would be interested in allowing us, and then we can discuss improvements. But you may need to put in a separate structure up there. I don't know if a bathroom would fit in there, because they store wrestling, baseball, soccer, street hockey, everything up there. And then the others, and then a third of it is actually a concession stand.
Well, it would be nice,
Yeah.
even if we were to put in water fountains,
Well, water fountains would be nice, yeah.
water fountains up there, then they don't have to carry water up every game.
Well, if you want to send a letter,
No,
Yeah.
you're the mayor. You send them a mayor, or you want me to talk to someone.
well, why don't you talk to someone to see if there's interest, and then we'll talk. You know, talk to Tom Cease. Okay.
All right. The fence at Crestwood, I need fencing
Is that the one of the
because
quotes?
the balls,
Yeah, I got a quote here, Sal. We're going to address that.
oh, you got the quote?
Yep, yep.
How much is that?
It's to install a 10-foot high, 2-inch mesh galvanized chain link fence in front of the dugouts with top and bottom and mid rails, all post set in concrete. $2,385. Tri-borough fencing from Bath. There's a quote. We'll send it down the south. I talked to Donnie today about it, and the kids that are in the dugouts, I guess if a foul ball goes over the fence, it rattles around in the dugout like a
It
pinball.
goes over the present fence.
Right, goes over the fence into the dugout. It's like a pinball machine then.
Right.
Last game, 2 people got hit.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's a danger.
They were screamers too.
You got to wear batting helmets when they're sitting in the dugout.
They put something up there to protect it
Hey, Donnie,
temporarily.
does that include the fencing down at Park in Warren Glen?
This says Crestwood baseball field.
By the basketball, it's damaged.
Well, that's a separate issue. Vangeli
That's a
Park, yeah, yeah, Vangeli Park, that's separate. Because I'm going to bring that up.
Oh,
Okay, But this is Crestwood, and it's,
Donnie, that didn't have nothing to do with Finesville either, right?
Well, okay,
when, they need this now though, right? Because baseball's already started.
Right.
the dugouts at Crestwood, you know, naturally, they're done, but they do need these improvements. And they've been spending a lot of money, the rec association. A lot of money up there. Joe Rossi, we have found that we're starting to find the people that really, you know, with these derelict properties. So he said, we fined them $500 a piece.
How much flack did you get, Sal?
Well, he's going to come up before the land use board, and he wants to amend the now, he wouldn't say bylaws, but he wanted to suspend some of the rules and regulations. Hey, that guy can't live like that with all them picnic tables. He's got wood in the ditch. It's horrible. So we're working on it. So he's gonna come before you guys, and I guess we can't make a decision tonight until he comes up before the land use board.
Yeah.
Better not do it, to get ourselves in trouble. Okay, that's all I have to do.
All right, great. Thank you, Sal. While we're on the parks, I asked the DPW to get quotes for the tennis court and the basketball courts down at Vangelia Park because they're deteriorating. And the park is Green Acres, so I believe Green Acres funds can be used for repairing.
That would be good because, hey, how about putting in bathrooms in there?
You know,
Seriously, we have the septic system in already.
well, I want to address the basketball courts and the tennis courts
And
first.
not, okay.
That's a much smaller.
Sal, that septic's
Cross.
all done?
Yeah.
You can hook right up to it?
Yep, we could hook right up to it.
So you're just talking a structure, but that's still a lot of money.
Yeah,
So it's something
sure.
to think about.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the septic's the biggest price of the
I think that was around 40, 50 grand.
right.
When did you get, when was that done?
When built the park,
Wow,
so we didn't have to dig it over again.
good thinking.
So we,
You got the connections on a map somewhere? We know where everything's
yep,
at?
I gave Donnie, I gave you, right? The blueprints? Yeah,
That's something to think about. for the
Yeah,
future,
future
man.
project,
That's
yeah.
not-
You know,
that's
if we
something
can-
to change,
make all at once.
Well, but we're just talking about resurfacing courts.
I know what
So,
you're,
yeah,
it does need it.
yeah.
It does need it, Jim.
There, I got a quote here too for the speed bumps. Take a look at that.
Oh, great, thank you. Okay. The other thing, I will read the police report since Mary Van Loo is not here. They responded to 487 calls. They issued 248 traffic summonses, 17 arrests. Criminal investigation opened 15 new cases. They had their 20th annual Powhatan Easter egg hunt at Powhatan School. All kids received a chocolate vanilla bunny and 40 prizes were awarded, including 4 grand prizes. Several parents said it was a great time, which is no surprise. No surprise. They do an excellent job with that. And they are currently in the first distracted driving campaign. I'm just curious, how many summonses have been written? Because I've been hearing all kinds of things around the state as far as police departments.
We wrote on that campaign, the first 9 days, 88 tickets.
Wow. And is that like cell phones and,
20 some were cell phones,
wow.
24, 25.
What was the most obscure thing that you guys wrote tickets for?
I don't know. I just count the numbers. Go out there
I
and,
was just curious, makeup or, this or that.
well, that's hard to tell because it just goes under careless driving.
Shaving, shaving.
I've seen electric shavers already.
Yeah, I was
Shaving
in-
with electric shavers.
It's, I think both sexes are equal opportunity offenders when it comes
Yeah,
to
I
distracted driving. All right, great. That is all I have except for the, like I said, these plans, which I hope that council approves. That being said, we have a proclamation designating May as Older Americans Month. I have the proclamation here. It says, whereas the Township of Pohatcong is a community that includes citizens aged 60 and older. 60. No one here. Whereas the older adults in the Township of Pohatcong are the roots from which our community grows, who bestow gifts of wisdom and insight upon younger generations and strengthen the bonds between neighbors to create a better place to live. And whereas our society can be enhanced by older adults aging peacefully in their communities, and whereas our community can provide that recognition and respect by enriching their quality of life for older Americans. And it says how they can do that, and it's a great treasure, our older Americans in the township, and I hope many more years for all of them. And this proclamation reminded me of another thing that's happening around town is the community garden, which has received good press so far, and I received some photos today of the area, and I think it's going to be a great community gathering, and I appreciate Rennie Melvin and Dr. Hernandez and Eric Person's leadership on this. I think we are going to, I'm very excited for how it's going to work out up there, and I think Dave's going to be donating some of his expertise to the project as well. All right, great. Resolutions. Do I have a motion? Oh, the motion on the proclamation. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, Square,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Resolutions. Redemption of tax certificate 2011-6. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Square,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. There are no ordinances of the first and second reading. Motions. Do we mind taking all three of, actually, no, we have to take the last one separate. The first two.
Mayor, can I just ask, is the hourly rate that if you could get in someone help be the same as last year?
Yes. It is to be identical.
We're going to take the first two motions, Mayor.
Yeah, first two, unless we want to take them separate.
No, I can go ahead and take them. I'll make that motion.
So moved.
A second, okay.
Okay, Square,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Okay, motion to authorize the mayor to execute a professional service agreement with RK Environmental to conduct an evaluation project of the municipal building at a cost not to exceed $11,000.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Square,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Abstain. Okay, public comment. Is there any general public comment? If so, please sign in up front and
Rennie Melvin, Winters Road. I just have a quick question regarding the website. Do you guys know how long does it take from the time the meeting minutes are completed and given to the website for it to be posted on the website, and what maybe that process is?
once they're approved, we send them to one of our designated employees and they can just upload it.
Okay, but do you know how long it takes? Because I noticed that the land use board meeting minutes haven't been updated since February 11th. And I'm just thinking that a lot of people that are interested in coming to some of these meetings that I spoke to, that don't usually come, I've kind of directed them to the site and there's no information. And I think they're just wanting to know what's happening with, what's going on at the meetings, so to speak. So I'm just wondering why there's a 2-month lapse.
I would have to look at, are they approved?
I can answer their meeting and I can.
Okay. Usually whenever they're approved, we'd look to post them within a reasonable time period.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Thank you so much. Thanks, Wendy.
Any other public comment?
Kevin Melvin, Winters Road. I've been attending some meetings, and specifically the land use board meeting, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about the public comment. I wanted to just make an observation about some things that I've seen, and probably about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, during one of the meetings, Mr. Arrow, the council, had mentioned about creating some guidelines for the board to follow. And during the meeting, I was given the impression that the discussion for that topic and decision around it for the policy would be handled in executive session. I myself work in a very regulated industry that's local, state, federal, international. And one of the best policies there are out there is to allow the opportunity for public comment on policies that are going to impact the public. So I would encourage members of the board, members of the land use committee, to think about, before having a vote, giving the public the opportunity to see what these policies may be. I know that it was on the agenda for the last land use board meeting, but as Mr. Slack has said, because of the lack of attendance, it was tabled. But again, I was given the impression that this was going to be a discussion during executive session, and then maybe action taken. And I think it's important that the constituents are able to voice their opinion, specifically on something that may be policy. And I appreciate the fact that the land use board, for the most part, is a self-regulated group. But it's important to a number of the townspeople to understand, wherever the decision may fall with regard to public comment, that at least the policy that's going to address it is available for them to provide input to the representatives on the land use board. I myself, I may not have something to comment on about a specific issue, but I want to have the opportunity to provide comment if I do have something to say. So again, this is not about necessarily the subject of public comment itself, which I am pro for. I think it's important that we have transparency. But one of the things that I think definitely needs to be addressed before being taken action on is that the rules of procedure are made available to the public to provide comment on before they are actually instituted through a private executive session.
Great, thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Jim.
Let public comment take place.
Jerry Kern. At the last meeting, I had commented to Councilman Slack, and also in reference to the public comment period in the Land Use Board. It's been 6 meetings now. There's been no public comment, either addressing regular general questions to the public comment, or pertaining to agenda items. At that time, Councilman Slack stated that the Land Use Board was offering public comment in reference to agenda items. The public at that time, we felt that was not the case, and Mr. Slack, Councilman Slack, was going to follow up on that and address the public at this meeting. I'd like to hear that addressment, because there has been no public comment of any type allowed at any meetings for the past 6 meetings. And I think that needs to be fixed. I don't believe that's the way it should be, as stated by your last speaker. And I think that the least they could do is offer public comment to agenda items until they figure out how they're going to handle the rest of it. In the meantime, the public has been left in the dark with the chair not offering any reason why there's been no public comment, or when, in fact, if ever, there will ever be any public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we do not need an executive session. No old, new business. Did you have anything you wanted to? Welcome back.
Bonjour.
Sal, what were you going to say before we?
I have a quote here from Universal Court Contractors, Jim, about the tennis court,
Oh, wow.
basketball court.
Well, we'll review that.
Okay,
Great.
I think they're both there.
Great.
And the other thing too is I got involved in it because it's a safety issue.
I'm glad it's here.
And so that's what's
Thank you.
driving this.
Excellent. Thank you. We will look at
Now,
this.
I don't know about thresholds as far as.
Well, we'll look at these. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone have any other business for the board? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
If I can't get a response to the questions that I made here, and I can't speak at the land use board, what does the public do? How do we get an answer to the problem? I'm unable to speak at the land use board. I can ask questions here and not get an answer.
When whatever vote comes up, I don't know, well, actually, I know how Councilman Slack feels. I will want there to be a form of public comment, and that's all I can say, because
No, Jared, if you write a specific letter to the land use board, it becomes part of their,
I mean, I did speak to the mayor, Jerry. I said we need to address this
Yeah.
problem.
right.
And I unfortunately had a prior meeting commitment at the last land use board meeting, so I could not attend, but we will have it resolved for.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, I understand, Jerry, but I said I did talk to the mayor. I said we need to take this thing by the horns and deal with it.
Yeah, he
Can't
did.
sweep it under the rug. We got to deal with it.
But meanwhile, you can do it in writing also, and then it becomes part of documentation as correspondence.
Well, it's recorded, it's documented.
Well, that's here, but not there. That's what I'm saying. We don't want the letter. You send it to land.
Well, when you pay for a public comment there, there's many reasons why it should be there, and a lot brought up tonight, but then it brings land use business to the council.
Yeah, agreed.
And we're not.
Agreed.
That's not what our job. That's why we have representation on that board.
I agree. And Dave and I have our feelings on it, and we will make them know when we have a vote. So I'll tell you that. Okay. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
I'll make that second.
Look at my timing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor, I get a bill here.
Jeff?
For
you have
putting
to
the,
sign. I got two of these.
Back up on the building.
No, yes.